Oh, is it recording? Okay, cool. All right, awesome. So, hey, my name's Dr. Cool Whip, and I wanted to make a really quick video in response to another video that I saw on the internet, posted by a really cool guy. His name's Briar Rabbit. He's part of the DCP Community Podcast. Totally awesome dude, knows a bunch of stuff about computers, gaming, etc. And he also has some pretty funny takes on sexual innuendos and Twitter questions. But I wanted to make a really quick video just to contribute to the conversation that he was promoting on YouTube and put it out there to the rest of the DCP community, the rest of the people on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. What are the favorite kind of guns that I've been using in this current sandbox? What did I like before? What's performing well? And what do I like on different classes? So to start off, you'll note that I'm playing as a Titan right here going to my vault. In my vault, I've got all my kind of second stringers for the most part. These are guns that I like, but I don't always use regularly. Some are good, some are bad, some aren't. The Badlands in there, those are not second stringers. Those Badlands took me all the way up and through comp, but currently I'm just not using them. I'm just saving them because I'm fairly certain I'll get a better role for a Badlands-esque shotgun in Forsaken, and I wanted to vault them because I was, for the most part, trying to save space on my characters preparing for Forsaken. So really quick, I will note that I do go through a lot of the weapons and stuff very quickly, so I'm trying to have to keep pace while I'm recording my audio. But for the most part, I just browse through the guns, show you which ones I like, why I like them. I'll hover over the perks, hover over the settings, the stats, the masterworks, all that kind of stuff, and you can get the gist of it. If you want to see how I have my weapons set up, the way that I like them set up, you can pause the video, etc. But for the most part, these are still my second stringers. The steady hand, the hand cannon I was just looking at before, is actually pretty decent. I haven't tried out the Time Worn Spire. I used it prior to multiple patches ago. It was pretty good back then. It's still good. The Rat King, I really enjoy this gun. I love this gun. I've always loved this gun. It is always going to be one of my favorite weapons just because of what that gun is, what it looks like, what it stands for, all those kinds of things. It's a beautiful gun. I love that gun a lot. Machina Day. This gun is kind of really close to my heart. Back in the Vigilance Wing days, this was one of the guns that could contend with Vigilance Wing. If you had it set up on high cal rounds and chambered compensator, it would outrange Vigilance Wing and it would flinch them off of you. So this was the gun that I used to counter Vigilance Wing back when it was in full swing. Another weapon that I used to counter Vigilance Wing was Garden Progeny. I love this gun. This gun is very good. Right now I haven't been using it, but this setup with Garden Progeny, it shoots like a rail. The only masterwork deficit here that I have is I don't have it spec'd into handling, which is what I would prefer. But I don't think I was able to get a handling masterwork on this. This gun is very good though. Polygonal rifling and steady rounds coupled together with Outlaw make this a very good long-range scout. It has very good base stats, very well-rounded weapon. And Outlaw coupled with this archetype of weapon is just very, very good. I love that gun. I sing it praises all the time, and I highly recommend that if you try it out with those settings. The Conqueror 2, I don't really use this a lot. It's a 900. I do like the 900 RPMs, but for some reason this weapon just doesn't really click with me. It might be better. It might be worth testing out, so I might break it out here in a little bit. Suros Regime is good. Allied Demand, this is another sidearm. I like sidearms a lot. Allied Demand right now is in a bracket of archetypes that if it had better perks, it would be a very good gun, but the Allied Demand currently just doesn't have very good perks. Hero's Burden, both of these are very good. I used them pre-patches quite a while ago. Both are set up exactly the same, but with a different masterwork. Range is pretty decent, and then reload is also fairly decent, but they will all have threat detector, high cal rounds, and the SPO front. Those are just the way that I like to have those set up. Mob Justice. This gun shreds. I love this gun. It's very, very good. Moving target, pulse monitor, and full bore. I use full bore on this because it doesn't have any munition perks. It doesn't have ricochet rounds or anything like that, or steady rounds, or accurized rounds, or anything like high cals, or all that kind of stuff. It doesn't have any of those. But if you max it out on full bore, moving target really locks onto people. So if you're in the optimal range while you're aiming down sight with this gun, you will stay on target. So you don't have to worry about stability. So definitely use full bore on that. The N, this is a good scout rifle. I haven't been using it lately, but it is definitely one of my favorite scouts. It just feels really good. It has a nice sight. The auto-loading holster is a nice kind of feeling perk to have while you're switching in between engagements and whatnot, and that did recently get a buff. So this is a very good weapon if you're taking on a tactical endeavor, like Trials or Comp or something like that. Jack Queen King 3, I just masterworked not too long ago. It's pretty decent, I like it, but I prefer the Allegro over the Jack Queen King 3. This gun, for some reason, is stellar. It's so good. It's really, really, really good. I love this gun. The opening shot, ricochet rounds, adaptive frame, good damage, very reliable, small weapon profile, so you don't have a lot in your way of your actual shot, so you have good visibility. Last Perdition, this is another really good-ish weapon. It's kind of decent. Rampage, once you get Rampage going, this gun is very good. At base, it's kind of not as good as some of the others, but it is a decent weapon, to say the least. My level 1 Drang, I love this gun just because it's a level 1 Drang. I don't think a lot of people have a level 1 Drang, but I do, and I have it masterworked into reload. This is a pretty proficient weapon. I use it sometimes in the Crucible when I decide to use Sturm, even though I'm not a big fan of the Sturm just because of the way it feels, but I am working on the Catalyst there. Braytech Winter Wolf, this is a very interesting auto rifle. I like auto rifles decent enough, but they have to do something really stellar for me for them to stick out. Braytech is one of the weapons that kind of stands out a little bit to me. It has good perks, good settings, and good stats. The way I have it set up this way, Zen Moment and armor-piercing rounds with the chambered compensator, is so that I can maximize its efficiency at range. It has a really high range coefficient. Zen Moment keeps it on target, and armor-piercing rounds helps it punch through other targets, and chambered compensator keeps it nice and steady at those ranges. I really like the way that that's set up. It's a very nice weapon. I highly recommend you try it out on those settings. I don't think there's too much in here. Maxim is a good sniper rifle. I just don't use it because I prefer the Frigid Jackal, which I will get to later on in this video. But there are some other guns in here that, like I said, are my second stringers. Pleiades Corrector, I love this gun, but it just isn't the gun that is consistent. So when it goes off, this gun is ridiculous because it has Rampage and it's in an archetype that already has very fast TTK, but because it's so unstable when you're firing it, it's just not the business right now. The number, this is actually surprisingly good in the archetype. Again, this is a 450 RPM. This was in the Uriel's bracket, high impact reserves, ricochet rounds, etc., etc. It's actually performing quite nicely. It's fairly consistent. Dark Decider. Okay, this is another one that kind of falls into the bracket of you kind of have to like it to love it, but it's a very interesting gun. It kind of bridges the gap between SMGs and other things. It's a very interesting weapon. I would try pairing this with a shotgun or a sniper rifle or something like that, just because it's a bridge weapon, so it's not going to outperform an auto rifle, but it's not going to underperform an SMG or something like that at different ranges. Very interesting archetype, definitely worth checking out. The Vision, this is a kill clip SMG 3-burst with far point and good stats. It's not a bad gun. I think it's currently outclassed by some other sidearms, which is why I have it as my second stringer, but it's a decent weapon to say the least, and I have used it pretty much effectively every once in a while, every time I break it out. So I don't really have any complaints with it. I just do prefer other weapons. So now I'm going to break into my Titan, which is my least used character. You'll note that there's not a lot of gear on her. She doesn't have like a whole bunch of stuff in her inventory, and that's how most of my characters are actually normally at right now, because I am vaulting most of my weapons so that I can prepare for Forsaken by filling up my inventory with all these new random rolls and all that excitement. That's my ultimate goal. So this is basically the bone stock version of how my characters are laid out currently, but you'll note later on in the video that I do have them filled up with some other weapons just to show you which ones I like. So currently I'm using the Peacekeepers with Fighting Lion and Antiope and then a rocket launcher to back it up. This build is really raunchy, and it's really, 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 really good with Antiope and the Fighting Lion. Antiope is ridiculous, Peacekeepers make Antiope even more ridiculous, and then the Fighting Lion is also very ridiculous. So these two synergize very well together. I use the top tree of Sentinel, and then I also have pretty decent stats, as you can see, 573, nothing to complain about. And then I got some pretty lucky rolls on this to make this build actually work. And it was actually these gauntlets that made me cater this build around this. Normally I use like Acreus and like a hand cannon and like a pulse rifle. But this build is actually very solid, and I have had a lot of fun doing it. So Curtain Call is Curtain Call. It's a decent rocket launcher. Antiope, I have it masterwork for handling. Balligant, very good. The Old Fashioned, also very good. Kill Clip, 2-tap. Can't really complain about that. My Titan is the shortest segment here, so we'll be moving on to something else in just a second. So, this is my Hunter. Well, technically that's my Warlock, but we will be talking about my Hunter. My Hunter currently is probably my favorite class to play in Crucible right now, just because of its ability to evade incoming threats. Shoulder charge, fusion rifles, all that kind of stuff, shotguns. Hunters right now seem to feel really good in the Crucible just because of their lateral mobility and their perk sets and their super. I like to play Night Stalker. I personally am a big Gunslinger fan, but I have been playing Night Stalker lately, one, because I like to emulate Miss 5000 Watts, but two, because it's actually a very good class. Its neutral game is very solid, etc., etc. So let's talk about this actual build here that I have. I have a clip for you later on after I do my Hunter detailing, showing off this actual build in work. It's very good. It's very niche. You do have to play to its strengths, and right now what I'm doing in the background is setting up my other build. This is going to be my comp build. This is the build that I use going into Forsaken or something very similar to maximize my efficiency in comp. So what you'll note, it's a double cooldown. It's not fully optimized right now, but it is a Shinobu's scumbag build. So Shinobu's Vow, double skip grenades, cooldowns on your grenades, and then you have a hand cannon to back it up in the primary with a lightweight grenade launcher in the secondary, and then the colony, so that you have tracking on literally basically everything. The secondary pair that you can do is Home for the Lost right here, which is very good for follow-up shots. You can also use Midnight Coup if you feel like picking and then stacking your rampage and then going on a tear with your hand cannon, proccing Outlaw, auto-loading holster reloads, you drop in a skip grenade, you fire off your grenade launcher, pick up some green, switch back over to your hand cannon, get some picks. You know the deal. That's just how that build works. It's very scumbaggy, but it's also very, very strong. I highly recommend you try it, but you will get some hate mail for that build. I have already gotten a few little letters here and there. Valeta D, again, this is a very nice sniper rifle. It has quick draw and ricochet rounds and a very nice scope. Very snappy, very agile, very sticky, does a lot of damage, and then you pair it with the Home for the Lost. Oh, it just feels so good. Double quick draw on all your perks, and then I pair it, I add the Whisper of the Worm just because I like to snipe and I love Whisper of the Worm, and Dragon Shadow smooths out all the qualms that you could ever have with Whisper of the Worm. So this build is a double sniper build, but it's not competing for ammo, so it's a very nice, well-rounded build. The Frigid Jackal, this is probably the most reliable sniper rifle in the game. I personally do favor using Alone as a God, but that's just because I like to use the Alone as a God. I think that the Frigid Jackal is the better sniper rifle, bar none. It has quick draw, steady rounds, and small bore. Very stable, very good damage coefficients, and then it also has the added benefit of having quick draw, which basically gives it snapshot. Snapshot's a little bit faster than quick draw, but it still has in and around the same kind of feel. Antiope, again, kill clip, masterwork for handling. Handling is definitely what you really want here, just to smooth out any deficits that you have aiming down sight, but then again, you can also hit fire and Antiope still kills people, so there's really no problems there. Midnight Coup is Midnight Coup. I'll talk about that later. Dire Promise. This is definitely one of my favorite hand cannons in the game. It's very consistent, very reliable, very stable. Again, I have my Masterwork for handling so that I can quick swap. Normally I use Dire Promise alongside the Fighting Lion. So you Fighting Lion, quick swap, boom, one shot, they're dead. The other build that I use with Dire Promise is the Ikelos SMG with Dire Promise because you get the shield break, rip their shields off, switch to Dire Promise, one tap to the head. Benito. Very, very, very nice build. So Ikelos SMG, this is how I have mine set up. Small bore, very, very nice. I do like fluted barrel, but I have been using small bore just for the maximized range. Threat detector increases its stability when there's people close to you, so it shoots on a rail. That's why I use threat detector. It's very good. Orwing small, I'm pretty sure we talked about it. This is just how I have it set up, auto-loading, concussion, and then quick launch because I like high velocity. The faster my munitions go down range, the less time I have to wait to kill them. Sudden Death. This is actually a very good gun. This is still very, very, very good. It's basically like Balligant, but it has threat detector, slide shot, and some other perks. It does have a nice ranged perk to it, so it has Hammerforge rifling. Snapshots is probably what you want to put on, but I do like testing weapons, and slide shot is not terrible if you have extra special ammo and you just want to get in there. Again, I use Dragon Shadow, so it's kind of irrelevant, but it was something that I was trying out, and this was the build that I was using. Antiope, Sudden Death, and Whisper the Worm. But you can also switch out to different power weapons if you want, depending on the map, what you see on the other side of the teammates, or on the other side of the team, that kind of stuff. So that was a very interesting build. I really like it. The Antiope D and the Dragon Shadow go very well together. Braytech, I like this over the Polaris Lance just because it's basically an exotic gun with exotic-like perks, but that isn't an exotic. So you compare it with very good weapons. Antiope, again, this is a very good, well-balanced loadout. This is something that I use quite consistently. Again, I'm just showing you that you can switch out various different potentials for different ranges and different play styles. It's a very good, well-rounded build. Darkest Before. Okay. This gun is shredding right now. I highly recommend you break it out. It's very, very good, very, very reliable. Some people love it, some people don't, but I personally love this gun. It's very solid right now. So I have mine masterworked into range so that I can take advantage of the stability, but you kind of can fiddle around between stability and range on this based on Hammerforge rifling or small bore. Either way works, just depends on your masterwork. I tend to just masterwork a weapon once unless I really need the roll. Then I'll go back and do it again. But I got range right off the bat, so it's like an easy pick into small bore. And that's what I did. So that's a very good weapon. I like the stats on it. It's very efficient, very reliable. Mida Mini Tool is Mida Mini Tool. It pairs very well with Mida. Mida's actually quite good right now, so this is not a bad weapon. I think it's a little underpowered compared to some of the other 900s, but it is a good weapon. 18 Kelvins. This is another good gun. Kill clip, accurized rounds, and then I think, yeah, small bore. Okay, yeah, so small bore is on there. If you look at the stats on this weapon, it's insane. It has a decent rate of fire. It is outclassed by some of the other sidearms out there in terms of rate of fire. But once you get kill clip procced, this thing will decimate everything. I have favoring towards small bore just so I can maximize the range and stability. And then I also have the added benefit of reload speed, and accurized rounds again is for range. Kill clip over opening shot on this every day, all day. There should be no choice there. It's always kill clip, not anything else. It doesn't matter how good the perk is, kill clip is way better. Quick Fang, etc., etc. That is probably about it. I tend to it's good to catch my breath. Hold on. I hit the lull. Thank God. I put this break in. Yeah, so there, I'm just going over some of the exotics I like. Stompies, Ophidia Spathe. Ophidia Spathe is something I really like to use with, what's it called? Gunslinger. It's very nice. Stompies I also like to use with Gunslinger. This is a pretty fun build right here. You have Sniper and then a nice well-rounded sidearm. You can do a bunch of really cool finicky stuff with that. That's a pretty smooth build. Yeah, just in general, these are some pretty good guns. Like, you don't really run into many weapons that are any better than this lot of weapons. In Forsaken, I'm sure that we will get some, and most definitely we are going to get some weapons that outclass the Year 1 weapons, bar none. But there are going to be some weapons that will be able to keep up. The Ikelos SMG, for one, will definitely be able to keep up. The Frigid Jackal will be able to keep up for the most part. weapons like that, Whisper the Worm, obviously will be able to keep up. But yeah, that's just kind of... Oh, I had the wrong cape on. That's kind of just the way that I like to play. Up close and personal, accurate shots, and then also with niche fiddly bits. So coming up here is a quick snapshot of the build that I was talking about earlier, the Veleta D and the Home for the Lost. It's pretty raunchy, so you can body shot and then one tap. It's pretty good. I missed some shots here and there, but for the most part, this build is very efficient at what it does. You have to be prepared for the fight that you're getting into, but Home for the Lost is very powerful. Veleta D and the Dragon Shadow are very good. Quick draw on the Home for the Lost. This build is fun. This build is really fun. Okay, well, in the editing, one of my clips got corrupted, and since I'm doing this in Upload Studio, I wasn't able to really show you my Warlock, which is kind of unfortunate. It's kind of difficult for me to edit because I'm editing through the Upload Studio on my Xbox, and I wasn't really able to show you some of the weapons that I was favoring on my Warlock. So instead, I've got a game clip of me solo queuing into a match while the skill-based matchmaking was active against a 6-stack clan while I had a 4-stack clan on my side. And these are some pretty high-level players. They were playing very well together, very synergized players, very on top of the game. They knew what they were doing, they knew how to play. So enjoy the game footage in the background while I just kind of spew out the guns that I would be normally talking about. So the guns that I have been favoring are Azimuth D, which has kill clip. It's a hand cannon. In this game, you'll see that I'm using the Niflheim Frost, which is also another scout rifle that has kill clip. Niflheim Frost is very good right now. It's a very potent weapon. It 3 taps to the head once you have kill clip active, and it has a very stable and reliable cadence of fire that's very good. I pair that with the Cold Heart, or pretty much everything is being paired with Cold Heart right now because I managed to get some Forsaken Robes that have the Special Ammo Finder perk, which I have to tell you is very strong. I don't think you need to double down too much on the Special Ammo Finder perk because I tend to find special ammo pretty reliably for it, and I usually can keep my Cold Heart topped off, but Cold Heart is just melting things right now. I didn't used to like the Trace Rifle so much, but Cold Heart has rapidly become my new favorite weapon in the secondary slot, bar none, above pretty much everything else. I will prefer to have Cold Heart hands down every day. Some other weapons that I talked about on my Warlock that I really like are the Traveler's Judgment, Last Hope, Midnight Coup, you know, the top hitters, the top spitters, etc., etc. I didn't really go into depth about this, but I have a Huckleberry that I really like. It's pretty decent in PvE and PvP. I have a Vigilance Wing. All my exotics I have masterworked except for Merciless. But all of the masterworked exotics are very good. So I do use those every once in a while. As far as secondary weapons, I use Traveler's Judgment, again, as I mentioned before. And some other standouts, too, are the Ikelos Hand Cannon. It's very nice, very efficient. It's not True Prophecy, it's the Forge Weapon, West of Sunfall 7. Very good gun right now. It's a precision hand cannon with auto-loading holster and accurized rounds. I really like that weapon. It's very consistent, very stable. Lately, though, I have been favoring the Niflheim Frost or just a basic hand cannon. The build that I have been most currently using is Azimuth with Ophidian aspects and then the Cold Heart. And it's really raunchy. It's a very potent mixture. So those are very good weapons to try out. I can't think of anything else to really talk about. So let me just say thanks for checking out my video. Thanks for being the good community people that you guys are and all that kind of stuff. I hope you like the video. I hope you like my weapon choices. I do write reviews on weapons. I do a lot of PvP science. I have about 35 days worth of PvP hours logged already, which is ridiculous. But I spend a lot of time in the Crucible testing weapons and testing out how to use them best and what their damage coefficients and stuff are. And the write-ups that I write are fairly casual, but they're aimed at entertaining and then also giving you basic knowledge as well as understanding for what you feel like doing too. So thanks.